My name is Kevin L. Knox, best-selling author, monetization strategist, and the creator of the Strategic Intelligence book system. I've ghostwritten over 100 books, developed curriculum for organizations across the country, and helped hundreds of entrepreneurs monetize their message, their ideas, as well as their purpose. And I learned something along the way. Well, as a matter of fact, I learned a lot of things along the way, but I want to share with you that a book is not just a book. A book is a business, and a business is only as strong as the strategy behind it. Now, most people want to write a book one day, but they don't realize that the book could be the beginning of their 6 or 7 figure ecosystem if it's done and built the right way. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to write a book in 30 days and then turn that one book into multiple streams of income. All right, ready? Let's get into it. All right, before you write your book, you must build the business of your book. All right, a book is not just a story or information on pages, it's a solution. And every solution begins with purpose. Purpose is the answer or solution to a problem. So if you want people to buy your message, you must identify a clear problem, a clear solution, and a clear transformation. Keyword transformation. Once you've established the purpose of your book, you must then build a framework for the book. Now, a framework is a structured, repeatable way to lead people from a problem to the solution. It gives your book shape, structure, and strategy. And here are just a few quick examples of some frameworks that anyone can create. For example, you could have something called the 4 steps to rebuilding confidence. Number 1, notice the lie. 2, replace the belief. 3, practice the new voice. And 4, reinforce the action. Another example is you could have something like the 5 levels of communication. Number 1, surface. Number 2, story. Number 3, struggle. 4, strategy. And 5, solution. See how it's simple? See, frameworks are just structured paths, step by step with clarity. Now, here's how you build one. All right. Number 1, identify the problem that you solve. 2, identify the transformation that people want. And 3, reverse engineer the path from A to B in 4 to 8 steps. That's your framework. That becomes the real spine of your book. Now that we talked about frameworks, I'm going to share with you my framework on how to write a book in 30 days. All right. The first step is to create your book title and your book subtitle. First, you want your title to be attractive, right? And then you want that subtitle to be specific. I always say you kind of want the title to be like that fine woman. You know that everybody, like she got the red dress, red heels, red lipstick, you know what I'm saying? It grabs your attention. But the subtitle is the substance. It provides clarity and context of exactly what the book is about, right? So for example, a title could be Confidence Reset. And then the subtitle could be How to Break Self-Doubt, Rebuild Your Identity, and Become Unstoppable. Another title could be like Parenting Without Panic. And then a subtitle for that could be A Practical Guide to Raising Kids with Clarity, Calm, and Confidence, right? You see how those titles and subtitles, it's strong, clear, and desirable? All right. Well, now let's dive into step 2, which is my 8-element framework. There are 8 foundational elements to create a transformation. I want you to get a pen and a paper, right? And what I want you to do is on the left-hand side, I want you to write down the first 4 elements. And then after that, on the right side, we're going to write down the other 4, all right? Right across from each other. Here we go. The first 4, on the left-hand side, we have purpose, potential, mindset, and goals. And then on the right-hand side, we have courage, confidence, perseverance, and commitment. Now, with these 8 elements, right, I'm pretty sure if you look at all 8 of these words, you can see how no matter your target audience, no matter your genre, no matter what you do, who you serve, everybody can relate to these 8 elements, right? Or these 8 words, right? Like, just think about it. Everybody needs to discover their purpose or understand the purpose of why they do a thing. Everyone needs to unlock or maximize their potential, renew their mindset. If you ain't setting goals, you're just not growing. Everybody needs courage. And then, hey, listen, you ain't nothing without confidence. You know what I'm trying to say? And we're all going to experience adversity. So we always got to persevere. And at the end of the day, we got to be committed to all of these, right? So here's what I want you to understand is that these 8 elements, you know how we are a spirit, but we live in a body? I want you to kind of technically look at these 8 elements like a spirit, but what I want you to do is give it a body. For example, in one of my books, I have a chapter called On Your Mark, Get Set, Grow, right? That's the body that I gave it behind the spirit, also known as the element of goals, right? And so then what I want you to do is I want you to come up with a body or a chapter title theme for each of these 8 elements. So why did I have you put 4 to the left and 4 to the right? I'm actually giving you a framework already. So think about it. When someone discovers their purpose, right? What's right across from it? Courage. They need courage to see it through. When someone goes to unlock their potential, what's the next step? They need confidence to maximize it. When someone goes to renew their mindset, they got to persevere through the old mindset. When someone goes to set goals, what? They got to be committed to the goals. You see how like that kind of works, right? So there's actually not just a framework, but there's also curriculum already established for you. All right. Now, once you have your 8 topics that you have created off of these 8 elements, in other words, the body that you gave it, right? Your chapter titles. Once you have all 8, I want you to then create 4 subtopics to each of the 8. So remember, I told you I had the element goals, and from that, I gave it the body, which is the chapter title on your mark, get set, grow. The 4 subtopics that I created to relate to it is 1, write the vision, 2, see the vision, 3, speak the vision, and 4, execute the vision. All right. You see how like it's organized? So now what happens is if you have 8 chapter topics and then you come up with 4 subtopics to each of those 8, you now have an 8 chapter book with 32 subchapters outlined, right? And then you have it outlined with a framework. Now that we have our outline, how do we actually write the book? All right. So what I want you to do is first, I want you to write an overview for each of your chapters. For every subchapter, what I want you to do is I want you to identify a problem and identify a solution. Once you do that, I want you to come up with a relatable story that you have to the problem. Then I want you to come up with a relatable story that you have to the solution. All right. Once you do that, the next step is I want you to give some motivation or some encouragement on that subtopic. And then finally, some level of information or insight on that topic. That's the transformation. I call this the 3I method. The reason why is because you inspire, you influence, and then you instruct. Because when you inspire people, your inspiration is going to come from your relatable stories. And once someone is inspired, they allow you to influence them. And once you influence them, they will then follow your instruction because it is impossible to motivate or teach someone who you have not first inspired. This is important because if you inspire them, they'll trust you. And if they'll trust you, they'll follow you. And if they follow you, oh, they'll buy from you. Next, I want you to write on a 3-day rotation. On day 1, write the chapter overview. On day 2, write subtopics 1 and 2. And on day 3, write subtopics 3 and 4. You repeat that 8 times. That's your book in just 21 days. And on the last 3 days, I want you to write the introduction, right? Which is just letting the reader know exactly why you wrote the book, your motivation behind it, and what they can expect from it. Now, how do we monetize a book into a 6-figure ecosystem? So remember those 8 chapters and those 32 sub-chapters that we created? Well, watch what happens next. Your book becomes an 8-module course with 32 lessons from the 8 chapters and 32 sub-chapters. Just put it in a teleprompter, and then you can teach it with personality, and each module you can sell individually or as a bundle. Already, right there, that's residual income. Next, your book becomes a 32-week group coaching program. That's 1 lesson per week, 1 hour per week, and 1 curriculum that's already done. Now, that's high-ticket recurring income. Next, your book becomes your one-on-one coaching signature framework. How? Again, your 8 chapters become your 8-session transformation. And this is what positions you as premium. Your book also becomes 32 ebooks that you can sell or give away for free because you have 32 subtopics. And that right there is lead generation on autopilot. Now, as far as my personal favorite, your book also becomes a podcast, 1 episode per subtopic. So if you have 32 subtopics, that's 32 episodes, 32 ways to get people to meet your brilliance. And now let's talk numbers. If you sell just 1 course per month at $1,000, 2 academy spots at $1,500, and 3 group coaching spots at $2,000, you're already at $120,000 a year without counting your book sales, your private coaching, speaking opportunities, or any level of consulting. That's the book monetization blueprint. Now, if you know you have a message, if you have a story people need, if you know God put something inside of you that you can no longer sit on, then let me help you bring it to life. With the Strategic Intelligence Book System, my team and I will help you, one, develop your framework done for you or done with you. Two, we'll ghostwrite your entire 8 chapter and 32 subchapter book. Three, we'll provide the editing, the formatting, and the cover art design. Four, we will assist you with self-publishing assistance to over 40,000 retailers and give you a private strategy session on how to turn your book into a six-figure ecosystem, all in 30 days or less. If you're ready to take your message from idea to manuscript and from manuscript to movement, connect with my team and I and schedule your free consultation. Let's build your book. Let's build your framework and let's build your legacy.